Good morning once again. Welcome to day 4 of the 30 days backtesting session. So this was where we ended yesterday. Remember, we are still working within this support level, which is our bullish order block. So we're still within this area until price takes this low. That's the only time that we'll consider it invalidated, and then we might expect more lower prices. But for now, this is still where we are sitting at the moment. And currently looking at the daily time frame, price took previous daily low and took previous daily high. Though it did not close above, it is still an engulfing candle, but not that strong. If price could really close above it that much, it will mean a lot. All right, you show a lot of strength. So this is a flagship reversal at this moment, and this is the daily time frame. You could say with a lot of certainty that price will be coming for this fair value gap. Okay, you will say with a lot of certainty that price will be reaching out to this first fair value gap. So that's like our first target. That's like our first target. And then this will be our second target because we still have another fair value gap here. Now, why are we looking at areas, or this is like internal range liquidity? Okay, because first, we are on a bullish key level. So we are targeting these levels, like there are possible areas that price can move up to if we are to get a buy. So if we are looking to buy, or if we get a buy signal, we're going to be targeting this one first and then this one second. All right, maybe before anything. Why am I just pointing this closer? Because the more we get or we go higher, we have areas that we can say they might also try to resist price. Like first, this up close candle. When the market is dropping, an up close candle becomes a resistance to price. Okay, so keep it close to this, guys. Let's go to 15 minutes. So we have already identified where we are likely to go to on the 15 minute, on the higher time frame. So we can now look at it, time and price, to see if we can get setups that can take us first into this fair value gap. All right, so this is our first area. Now, also looking at this, we have two things that can happen. We have two things that can happen. We have a very nice fair value gap here. All right. Now, if price can come down to this fair value gap, we are going to be buying into the first fair value gap. We're going to buy into the first fair value gap. If not, we might just want to wait, because at this point, you might want to see can see something. If price just goes into this fair value gap, it will not be a good idea to, you will not have to rush after it, okay? Because like I said, we have this fair value gap here. Price can do something like this, then come down before it moves up. Maybe we have something like this before we not target the other one higher, because this was the day of the flagship reversal, right? And there's a possibility that price can reverse maybe to the 50% of it before going higher, or maybe from the opening of this candle, we might want to see it create a low before pushing higher. So two things. If price from here goes up to the fair value gap, we might want to wait and see if we get any deep correction before we buy. But if it opens and comes down immediately here, we are going to buy directly, and our target will be that fair value gap. So let's see what happens. This is still Asian session. We'll have this as our entry. Okay, so price did not come that much down to fill in this fair value gap, and the London session is trying to push higher. Now, looking at London session, it took out Asian low. Okay, it took out Asian low, and then it actually closed above this bearish candle here. So if this, we're gonna get a retracement back to this point, you might want to consider buying up to that fair value gap. Okay, so but I would really love to see price come down to this fair value gap before we get a buy. So let's see if we get a retracement down to this point. We are going to risk a buy from here with our stops below this low, and we'll target the Asian, the fair value gap. If at all price reverses before it reaches this fair value gap, but if it does, then we want to be calm. All right, we will not be taking any trade at the moment, because that's our main draw on liquidity. And if your main draw on liquidity is taken, then you have to wait. Okay, we are into New York session, and New York session went directly into the fair value gap. So at this point, this trade is not valid anymore. So let's see how price plays around with this fair value gap. Okay, we have this here as some equal lows leading into this fair value gap. If this fair value gap here wants to resist price from buying, okay, it wants to resist price from buying, we will confirm that if price close below this low. And if that should happen, it will mean like price is giving us a New York reversal setup. Okay, so we're having like a bearish breakout structure now. At this point, this is showing a good reaction from this fair value gap. So if price can come back even at least up to this fair value gap here, can get a sell. Okay, so we have a small fair value gap here, which means we might get a sell. Price might sell from here, or we just have to include this one too. If we're selling from there, we'll target these lows and then into this fair value gap. It's just like price is giving us a New York reversal. It might work same as it might not. So at this point, if price takes this low, we are going to be going break even. Okay, this low has been taken. So at this point, you have to go break even just to protect your position, because price might still reverse from here. It's not a must that you must fill this fair value gap, but it's an ideal area for price to come down to. But if it doesn't, at least you're already on break even. So the reason why we are selling is because price on a key level gave us a New York reversal. That's within time and price. Okay, the setup is not from space, and it's on a key level and it's within time, the time of the day. New York reversal. Somebody said he can't hear me. Maybe your device is having a problem. Charles said, I'm not understanding where is the fair value gap. And Zoom is crashing, bro. Oh, yeah, yeah. My network is really unstable this morning. So can you guys hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay. If you can see my screen, let me see that on the chat. If you can see my screen, see that on the chat. Okay. Okay, good. So I was explaining this trade that it was a New York reversal trade, and it's not happening in space. It happened on a key level. That's the first important thing you need to check out when you are doing your analysis or when you're about to take a trade. It should not just be from anywhere. So price took out this CSI liquidity here, and like I said, you can go break even. Okay, but I would really love to see price come down to this fair value gap here. Okay, but at this point, you can now move your stop loss to your break even. That's if price wants to come back, your trade is not going to be, you are not going to be risking anything again. So the trade was about it was 2.23 hour. Okay, so we are now risk free. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we are down to the fair value gap, and now it's late, so we can't be buying at this time. I don't think. For me personally, I don't trade that. I will not be taking a position at this time of the night. I think it's already getting to 11 o'clock. Right now, you will see spreads are very high. So that's the reason why we don't trade so much. We don't trade that late, mostly just because of spread and stuff like that. Because most of the time, you will know how the Asian session will likely be to play out. So we have had one trade, which is resulting to 2.3 R, 2.23. So let's wait for London session and then see how price plays around from this key level here. If during London we get a bullish shift from here, and then we are going to buy and we target the next fair value gap higher. Maybe this was just to give us a pullback for price then to continue higher. So let's see. Now, Asian session gives a stop hunt inside this fair value gap, and it breaks higher. So we're now into London session. Okay, if London session should give us a small pullback, we'll just get in for a buy. I have a small fair value gap here. Oh, we will have another fair value gap here. Let's see. They don't want to give us a setup. So London session open now. This is 8. Let's see if we get a pullback. Wow, interesting. So we are going straight to the next fair value gap. we are going straight up to the next fair value gap. So, which was our next draw on liquidity. So we can also expect a pullback from that point. So maybe as a New York reversal, if price can come back up to this breaker, we can get a sell and we target maybe just this London low into this fair value gap here. That's about 2.5. Is too much consolidation at this point. Alvin, are you do you see do you have are you on this sell or not? If Alvin is not selling, we are going to close the trade. Alvin, are you selling or you are not selling? Okay, Alvin says he's going to buy. Alvin have spoken, so you guys should just forget about the trade. It's not going to work anymore. Regardless, it looks like a New York reversal trade, but price with this bullish sponsorship coming from this breaker, point, you can see price actually mitigated that high nicely. Let me delete this so that we'll see that better. Mm. We have price on this high and then it came back directly from that, which had to do with this the confluence of this other block. So it can be a good trade, but still it can end up as a losing trade as well. So I haven't said it's going to buy. Yeah, there are possibilities for it to buy and there are possibilities for it to sell because we had a shift in market structure at this point. So, but at the moment, the only reason I see it giving buy signals is because of this liquidity it's building up here. So, which means you can have price try to break higher from that from these highs. Okay. So anyhow, let's see how it goes. Okay, so we came right back down to TP at this point. Somebody's writing on my screen. So this was another New York reversal trade. We had that was 2.5, was 2.5 R. I'm trying to notice that we are very consistent with at least with an average risk to reward ratio of 2.5, which is very, very good, which is very, very good. So Let's see how this plays out. Or let me see. So remember, we're just expecting this to also be like a pullback. Let's check 4 hour time frame to see where this pullback is coming down to as a reaction to that daily key level. So we have a 4 hour order block here. We have this 4 hour order block. So let's go back to 15 minutes. We'll get bullish confirmations. We are going to continue with the trade. So at this point, we have New York session came down to that 4 hour. So we can be looking for maybe a New York reversal. And for that to happen, price should go above this high. This is the nearest supply zone that's pushed price much lower. So let's see if it breaks that high. Okay. So we haven't closed above it completely. So you can see how this this is very technical, right? Price did not close above this candle completely. So it was just a stop point, maybe leading to this fair value gap for a more continuation sell. But at this point now, our focus is shifted to this high. Price should take this high, and then we are getting a New York reversal, but it's already getting late. So which means we'll probably want to buy but tomorrow in the morning. Let's see. Okay, we are now into Asian session, 10 o'clock. So New York, the previous day already did a nice top one. So if Asian session today is trying to continue higher, that will be fair enough. So let's see if London session gives us any small stop on to then expand higher. Uh, okay. So Asian session grabbed all the liquidity here. So with London session, we could be getting a buy from this other block because we don't really see any reason for price to come lower again unless he wants to take a swing low. But the order flow here is completely bullish. So which means price can likely from here continue higher. Okay. So, and we have all this trend line liquidity, from here. So, which means price can, and right up to this Asian high. So, if we're buying, our first target will be this Asian liquidity, and then later on this high. So, remember this bullish move is coming from a 4 hour key level. So, if we want to buy from this 15-minute order block, where our stops are going to be under this low, and then we target the Asian high. Target this Asian high first. Okay, so that's about 5 hour. Let's see how it goes. Now there's no fair value gap down here. That's why I'm trying to maintain our stop loss under this low, though there's still a possibility that price might want to come lower. But if price really wants to come lower, uh I would prefer we be stopped out here and then we then sit and see if price after taking this low will give us another shift for us to buy from, because if price takes this low, it might want to continue lower. So you will really want to wait and see what happens next. So let's get this trade from this other block and then with our stops here, and then we'll see if price is going to buy from there. Okay, very good. So at this point now, How many people are still buying? Wait to somebody say he can't hear. Excuse me. How many people are buying? If you are buying, type one. If you are not buying, let me see zero. Alvin, are you buying or you are selling? If you are buying, let me see one. If you are not buying, let me see zero. Alphonse is buying. Rene is buying. Good. Okay. Okay. Osby is buying too. I want to see a seller. That person is going to make money today because this buy is not looking like it's going to work. Let's get somebody that will be selling. Today, that person is going to hit people's stop loss. You guys are not seeing the way this candle close, and you are still buying. Okay, I will say don't see liquidity to grab. Okay. So almost everybody is seeing a buy, but the trade is going to hit stop loss. Good. This is what I wanted to see. How many people are still buying? At this point now, people's hearts are making are beating very fast. Delphi. At this point, your heart is making kick, 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 kick. Yeah. It's normal. Things like this happen. Okay. You are watching and you are praying that price should not hit your stop loss. Yeah. Some people will now start say, okay, it was valid that we put our stop loss right down here. It's not a bad idea, but maintain our stop loss, especially yeah, especially if even if it's even on gold, maybe if you try shifting your stop loss on gold, maybe before price hits your stop loss, your account is gone already. So when your risk is, you start calculating why did you risk that much. The grace of God is holding us on this trip. I sprayed would have already taken some people already out. And finally hit stop loss. Okay. So we have had our first loss for today. That one was really nice. So with the way the market is moving now, you can see that probably we are going to be ending this day like a contraction. London session accumulated, New York session is doing the same thing, taking London's high and London's low. So these are days that you will expect losses like 90% of the time. You can see a lot of consolidation, taking highs and lows. So we just have to be calm, see how if New York session is going to expand or not. But a day like this is very, very technical. Isaac calls it a seek and destroy profile. Price wants to buy and he wants to sell. So you are just lost in the middle of nowhere. In days like this, only risk management can save you. Okay. So let's see how that particular day ended because the day was really tough. Okay, so let's go to daily time frame. So we did not really expand that much, right? But though we closed bullish and we are still respecting this bullish order block. So this following day, we might target previous daily high and then this high too. Remember, we are still on this key level in the other block here. So we're still expecting maybe price to do something based on this other block. But the way price is moving here, it's not showing really a good displacement. Okay, so let's come back for the next session and we continue from here. So we just have a short 10-minute break and we come back and we continue.